My dad rented a super tiny house in the NJ suburbs that had a massive yard where our neighbors would hunt for fun and leave deer carcasses. Weird stuff happened a lot, but I was very young, 3 to 6, so I didn't think much of the lucid dreams, strange footsteps, etc. Then one night when I was like 5, I woke up and went to the kitchen for some water. We had a table next to the window in the kitchen, and I saw this thing crawling over the table and out the window. I was like 3 feet from it, saw it clear as day. I froze and I could have sworn it turned its head to look at me, then kept crawling out. After watching it for like 10 more seconds, I screamed and ran to my dad's room. We moved that same year to another house down the road, and I've never experienced anything like it again. Could have just been childhood delusions. Edik, but it was so real to me. It's been 20 years in IDRC that nobody believes me, but it was so odd. Especially since it was like, trying to escape. Edik.
My mom has seen a shadow person in her basement. And my nephew grew up in Udall, Kansas back in the 50s. A large tornado took out the town. And I guess if you go to the park in the center of town, they usually go in like the fall before dusk. You will see residual spirits, still walking around and working on stuff. There is a guy who walks around like in a flannel work shirt, and he is doing stuff with his hands like he is maybe trimming a tree, or maybe putting lights on a tree, or something. But he is working, and they said that he appears to be walking around the park, and when you walk near him, he either ends up on the other side of the park, or he manages to move past you. But according to the locals, I guess it's not unusual to see.
This isn't an actual sighting, but I had a very vivid nightmare where I encountered a being similar to this. The dream was inexplicably normal, but incredibly vivid. I remember every detail. My roommate was showing me the house she wanted to buy for us to move into. It had an upstairs apartment only accessible through an outside staircase on the side of the house. It was one of those boxy farmhouse types with a fat screened-in porch on the back and yellow siding with white porch trim. There were trees in the yard old and wise enough to call cicadas home every year. Wood floors, wood paneling, old wallpaper, and lots of ancient cabinetry and fixtures were what outfitted the inside. Nothing unusual. Not until my roommate wanted to show me the upstairs apartment. She was weirdly excited about it. Like this was what she had saved, the best for last. So we climb up this slightly rickety staircase, and I remark on how we'll need to get this rebuilt since it's old. When she throws open the door up at the end of the stairs and says, "Look," and then this thing hovered because it didn't have feet, onto the stair landing. Suddenly my roommate was gone, and it was just me looking at this thing. There were no rounded edges. Its legs ended at points that hovered just inches above the ground. Its arms similarly ended in points but were just down by its side. It had a torso of sorts, but in a jagged, almost crystalline way, in the way it flowed upward toward the pointed head. The head had a gem-like shape with a point at the top. No eyes, no mouth. Just dark matter or metal or crystal, I don't know. It didn't have sensory organs, but I knew it was looking at me. And when it started hovering toward me, I took off in the dream. I ran as hard and fast as I could to my car, horror movie style. Dream oracle, you can't run from your problem style. But before I got to the car, my dream abruptly stopped and changed into something mundane again. I know it's not a sighting and it's all nebulous and stuff, but seeing this image brought that dream racing back into my mind's eye with crystalline clarity.
These are the witch ghosts that tormented me as a little kid. I think there were 3 or 4 of them. They would come out from the closet and emerge from the top corner of my bedroom wall. Then they would slide up and down along the walls, getting closer to me with each pass. From a distance, they looked 2-dimensional. But up close, they seemed to have some depth. If they got close enough to me to elicit a scream, my mom would comfort me by vacuuming the room, assuring me she would vacuum them all up. They still came back sometimes, but I eventually stopped seeing them when I was about 6, I think.
I work in an elementary school at night, and I have some scary things happened. One night, I was vacuuming a room around 9:30-ish. I saw out the corner of my eye movement, but then I turned my head to look, and a rocking chair was moving like someone was sitting in it rocking themselves. I stopped just to take a video. I knew no one would believe me. I checked to see if the air conditioner was on, or if the windows were open, only to find out they were not. I have no explanations for it that I could physically see. It did feel cold in that room.
I was on a trip to Ireland with my mom's sister and nephew in 2016. We were staying in a small village called Ellihis that was on the coast. We rented a 3-bedroom house. My mom and I had our own room, and my sister and nephew split the other room. My room was tiny. but it overlooked a pasture with sheep in the ocean. It was absolutely adorable. But there was a weird door that had a large dresser pushed in front of it. The door had step up to it, so we assumed it was a door to the attic. The first night I was so excited to not have to share a room with my mom who snores like a freight train. Lol, anyway. I kept having dreams that something was trying to open the door behind the dresser. I was half awake when I thought I heard scratching at the door. I opened my eyes, and nothing. I drifted off for maybe 2 minutes when I woke up 100% too aggressive scratching under the bed. It sounded like a large dog was furiously digging under my bed. I pulled the covers over my head and just sat there, not fully believing what was happening. Suddenly, the scratching stopped. I immediately stood up on the bed and leaped to the door. I ran, and I got into bed with my mum. Lol, she was so confused to see her 18-year-old daughter jumping into bed with her, but I wouldn't tell her what happened until the morning. There were a few scratch marks under the bed. I didn't go back into that bedroom for the rest of the trip.